My beloved child, stop. Stop now. Not because I am angry with you, but because your soul has been moving so fast that it has nearly forgotten how to hear my voice. This moment is not accidental. You did not arrive here by chance, and you are not listening because you ran out of options. I have stirred your heart on purpose. I have interrupted your thoughts on purpose. I have reached into the noise you have been calling normal, and I have pulled you aside, gently but firmly, because I love you too much to let you keep living as if peace is something you must chase down with clenched hands. My child, you have been asking me for peace, and I have heard you. I have heard the prayers you whisper when no one is watching. I have heard the breathless pleas you send up while you are trying to hold yourself together, and I am not distant from you. I am not ignoring you, but hear me clearly. You keep asking me for peace while you are still insisting on keeping control, and peace cannot fully live where control still rules. Heaven is not withholding comfort from you. Heaven is inviting surrender from you. You want relief, but you are protecting the very posture that keeps you restless. You want calm, but you are gripping the steering wheel so tightly that your knuckles have gone white, and you call it responsibility, you call it wisdom, you call it being strong. Yet, I did not design you to be strong in the way you have been trying to be strong. Because this is the conflict within you, my beloved, you want me to quiet the storm, but you still want to decide how the story ends. You want my hand, but you also want the final say. You ask for my peace, yet you keep clutching the outcome, the timeline, the person, the plan. You keep rehearsing what could happen, rewriting what should have happened, and bargaining with tomorrow as if you can secure it by thinking hard enough today. And you wonder why your chest feels tight. You wonder why your mind will not shut off. You wonder why you can be surrounded by people and still feel alone inside your own thoughts. My child, peace is not a feeling you chase until you catch it. My peace is a presence. My peace is a weight of glory that settles where there is room for it to rest. And there is a room in you that I have been knocking on quietly at first, and then more insistently, not to condemn you, but to draw you. The reason you have felt interrupted, the reason you have felt unsettled, is not because you are broken beyond repair. It is because something in you knows you are carrying what you were never meant to carry. You have tried to manage what belongs to me. You have tried to control what requires trust, and your soul has been sounding an alarm, not to shame you, but to awaken you. Listen to me. You cannot receive what you refuse to make space for. You cannot hold tightly to control, and also hold fully to my peace. You cannot enthrone your own understanding and expect the atmosphere of heaven to settle over your thoughts. My peace does not compete with the throne of self. My peace is released when you yield, when you loosen your grip, when you stop demanding that everything makes sense before you obey me, before you rest in me, before you trust me. I did not create you merely to exist, but to live fully in meaning, and the meaning you were made for is not found at the end of your striving. It is found in the center of your surrender. My beloved child, you have been trying to fix your anxiety by tightening your control, but that is like trying to put out fire with oil. The more you grip, the louder your mind becomes. The more you attempt to secure every outcome, the more your spirit feels exposed. And you have mistaken this restlessness as weakness, when much of what you are feeling is misalignment. You are not failing because you feel overwhelmed. You are feeling overwhelmed because you have been acting as if it all depends on you. And I am calling you back to the design of trust, back to the posture of a child who does not have to be their own savior, back to the place where you can finally exhale without fear that everything will fall apart the moment you rest. So stop, my child, not forever from your work, not forever from your responsibilities, but stop in your inner world. Stop the frantic negotiating. Stop the silent rehearsing. Stop the need to control how you are perceived, how quickly things change, how people respond, how doors open, how answers arrive. You have been measuring your safety by what you can manage, and I am telling you gently, your safety has never been in your management. Your safety is in my hands, and my hands have not been absent. They have been steady, even when your thoughts have been shaking. I know you are tired. I know you are afraid that if you do not stay vigilant, something will slip through. I know you have learned, through disappointment and delay, to keep a backup plan, and then a backup for the backup, because you do not want to be caught off guard again. But, my beloved, I see how this has been costing you. I see how you have been surviving instead of living. I see how you have been present in body yet absent in spirit, because your mind is always trying to get ahead of pain, always trying to outrun uncertainty, always trying to predict what only I can truly hold. And I am not speaking this to accuse you. I am speaking this to free you. I stir your heart not to condemn you, but to draw you. I am calling you into a sacred pause, because there is a door opening in you, an opening for peace, but it will not open wider through striving. It opens through surrender. It opens when you finally admit, I cannot carry this, and you let that admission become worship instead of shame. It opens when you stop asking me to bless the grip, and you allow me to loosen it. Stay with me now. Do not rush past this moment. Do not turn this into another thing you listen to while you keep your heart armored. Let my words reach the place you have kept guarded. Because what you have been calling anxiety may not be the proof that you are weak. It may be the signal that something is out of alignment. It may be your spirit's way of telling you, this is not the yoke you were meant to wear. And if you will listen, if you will stop and let me speak, I will show you what has been weighing you down, and I will begin to lead you into the peace you have been praying for. The peace that does not come from controlling life, but from trusting the one who holds it. My child, I am going to touch what you have been protecting, not to wound you, but to heal you. I am going to name what you have been calling just how I am, not to shame you, but to bring you into clarity. Because you have been praying for calm, yet you have been guarding the very thing that keeps you in turmoil. You have been asking me to quiet the storm, while still insisting that you must steer the boat alone. You have been asking me for rest, while keeping your hands clenched around the outcome, the timeline, the way you must be perceived, the way it must unfold. And you have wondered why relief feels near, but not settled, why peace visits, but does not stay. Listen closely, my beloved. There is a pattern I see in you, and I speak of it with gentleness because I know how you learned it. You learned to survive by anticipating. You learned to stay upright by controlling what you could. You learned to avoid pain by rehearsing every possibility. And now, even when you pray with one hand open and one hand still gripping. You say, Lord, give me peace, but underneath that prayer is another sentence you rarely admit. As long as nothing surprises me, as long as I am not disappointed again, as long as I do not look foolish, as long as I am understood, as long as I can keep myself safe. And I do not say this to condemn you, but to draw you. I do not expose this to embarrass you, but to free you. Because the storm outside you is not the only thing disturbing you. There is a storm of striving within you, and it is fueled by hidden attachments you have called wisdom. You have attached yourself to being right because being right feels like protection. You have attached yourself to being safe because safety became your God when you were hurt. You have attached yourself to being understood because misunderstanding once cost you something, and you decided you would never be misread again. You have attached yourself to control because control feels like certainty, and certainty feels like peace. But my child, certainty is not peace, control is not peace, and being right is not rest. Some of what you keep calling responsibility is actually fear wearing respectable clothing. Some of what you keep calling preparation is anxiety, trying to secure tomorrow without me. Some of what you keep calling discernment is your mind scanning for danger because you do not want to be caught off guard again. And yes, there is a place for wisdom. Yes, there is a place for planning. But there is also a place where planning becomes a fortress, and wisdom becomes a wall, and responsibility becomes a throne you sit upon so you will not have to feel vulnerable. And I am telling you, my beloved, peace cannot settle where your heart has built a control room and refuses to let me in. You have been praying for me to calm your emotions while you keep feeding the very system that produces them. You have been asking me to take away the tightness in your chest while you keep revisiting the same scenarios, the same conversations, the same what-ifs, the same contingency plans. You have been asking for sleep while your mind stays on guard as if you are the watchman of the universe. And when you do this, you are not merely tired, you are overburdened. You are carrying weight you were never meant to carry, and you are calling that weight normal. My child, let me say it plainly. Sometimes what you call anxiety is the weight of control you were never meant to carry. It is not only an emotion, it is a signal. It is your soul telling you, this is too much for you. It is your spirit groaning under a yoke I did not place upon you. It is the inner alarm that sounds when you have stepped into a role that belongs to me, when you have tried to be your own provider, your own protector, your own validator, your own guarantee. And I know you did not choose this because you wanted to rebel. Many times you chose it because you were wounded, because you were disappointed, because you were left to figure things out alone. But hear me, what you learned in survival is not what I am calling you into for your future. Because control has a quiet way of hiding even in your prayers. It whispers, pray harder, and then you can keep holding it. It whispers, if you worry enough, you will be ready. It whispers, if you stay tense, you will stay safe. It whispers, if you manage every detail, you will not be disappointed. But I am rewriting that lie in you, my beloved. Worry does not prepare you, it drains you. Tension does not protect you, it traps you. Managing everything does not keep you from disappointment, it only keeps you from dependence. And you were not designed to live without dependence on me. So let me diagnose your heart with love. The place you cannot rest is the place you will not release. The area where you demand guarantees is the area where you have not yet trusted me. The relationship you keep analyzing, the door you keep forcing, the timeline you keep monitoring, the image you keep protecting. These are not just circumstances, my child. These are altars where you have been offering your peace in exchange for the illusion of control. And I am inviting you, not with harshness, but with holy tenderness. Come down from that altar. Step away from that bargaining table. Stop paying for peace with panic. Stop paying for safety with sleeplessness. You have asked me for calm, and I have heard you. But calm will not come by you tightening your grip and asking me to bless it. Calm will come when you allow me to take what you have been clutching, when you let your hands open, not in defeat, but in trust. And the unsettled feeling you have been fighting is not proof that you are failing. It is proof that your soul remembers my design. It is the part of you that still knows, I was never meant to carry this alone. And if you will let that unrest become an invitation instead of a sentence, if you will let it lead you back to me instead of driving you deeper into control, then you will begin to feel what you have been praying for, not as a fragile moment, not as a passing sensation, but as a settled peace that can finally find a home in you. My beloved child, I need you to understand this with clarity. This restlessness is not random. You have been looking at yourself and saying, why am I like this? Why can I not settle? Why does my mind keep racing even when nothing is happening? And you have been tempted to call yourself unstable, weak, or broken. But I am telling you what is happening beneath the surface, not to frighten you, but to free you. You are not merely dealing with personality or mood. You are standing in the middle of a spiritual battlefield, and there is a war over your inner stillness, because inner stillness is where my voice becomes clear to you. The enemy does not have to destroy you to delay you. He only has to keep you noisy inside. He only has to keep you hurried, reactionary, and mentally crowded, so that you mistake my gentle leading for silence, and you mistake your own racing thoughts for wisdom. He studies the places where you are tired. He watches the moments when your guard is low, and he uses the same strategy again and again. Weariness that makes you impatient, urgency that makes you impulsive, mental noise that makes you distracted, fear that makes you grasp for control. Because when you are exhausted, you will choose anything that feels immediate. When you feel urgency, you will call it discernment, even when it is panic. When your mind is loud, you will struggle to hear the quiet strength of my spirit, and when fear is allowed to lead, you will trade surrender for survival. Listen to me, my child. There is a reason your peace has been targeted. There is a reason you can be on the edge of rest, and suddenly your thoughts begin to flood with what-ifs. There is a reason you can be about to pray, and suddenly you feel the pull to check something, fix something, research something, scroll something, prove something, solve something, anything but be still. There is a reason you can be alone with me for a few moments, and then a heaviness tries to sit on your chest as if you must carry the whole world again. The enemy fights your peace, because peace keeps you able to hear me, and if he can keep you from hearing me, he can keep you from obeying me, and if he can keep you from obeying me, he can keep you circling the same mountain while calling it being careful. But I do not tell you this so you will become paranoid. I do not reveal the battle so you will become afraid. I reveal it because awareness breaks agreement. You have been fighting yourself, blaming yourself, condemning yourself, for what has felt like constant internal unrest, and you have not realized that part of what you are feeling is an assignment against your calm. Some things are not random, they are refined attacks meant to cover up my voice. And I see you, my beloved. I see how you have tried. I see how you have held it together in front of people while your thoughts were unraveling in private. I see how you have apologized for being too much, when the truth is you have been carrying too much. And hear me clearly, I do not blame you for stumbling in this battle. I do not shame you for the nights you could not sleep. I do not accuse you for the moments you escaped into busyness because stillness felt too heavy. I know what you have endured. I know what you have had to navigate. I know the disappointments that trained your nervous system to stay alert. I know the betrayals that taught you to watch every door. I know the seasons where you felt alone, and you began to believe that if you did not manage it, it would not be managed. But, my child, I am not exposing this to point a finger at you. I am exposing it to lift a weight off of you. I stir your heart not to condemn you, but to draw you back into safety, back into truth, back under my covering. Because the enemy is not only attacking you with fear, he is offering you counterfeits. He cannot give you my peace, so he offers you numbness. He offers you avoidance that feels like relief for a moment. He offers you control that feels like stability for a moment. He offers you constant stimulation, scrolling, noise, endless input, so you do not have to sit with your own soul long enough to realize you are thirsty for me. He offers you productivity, so you can feel valuable while being empty. He offers you entertainment so you can feel distracted while being bound. And you have called these things rest, because they quiet you temporarily, but they do not restore you. They do not heal the place in you that is aching. They do not guard your mind. They simply sedate it. My beloved child, the peace of Christ is not the absence of feeling. It is the presence of me. It is not the numbing of your emotions. It is the anchoring of your soul. It is not you shutting down so you cannot be hurt. It is you being held so you do not have to be afraid. It is not you avoiding reality. It is you facing reality with me as your portion, your protector, your wisdom, your guide. And that is why the battle intensifies when you are close to surrender, because the moment you yield, the moment you stop negotiating, the moment you stop propping open doors of worry, you become harder to move with intimidation. So do not misread the resistance as proof you are doing something wrong. Sometimes the resistance is proof you are stepping toward freedom. Sometimes the increase of mental noise is not because you are failing, it is because you are nearing a threshold. The enemy grows loud when he is losing ground. But I am teaching you now to recognize the sound of false urgency. I am teaching you to discern the difference between my conviction and the enemy's condemnation, between my leading and your fear, between holy wisdom and anxious analysis. And I am inviting you to stop partnering with what steals your stillness. Come closer, my child. Let me show you a different way. You do not have to fight for peace by striving. You do not have to force calm by clenching your jaw and pretending you are fine. My peace is not produced by your effort. It is released where your trust replaces your worry. And there is a guarding that I place over a yielded heart, a protection that does not come from you controlling every outcome, but from you bringing every concern into my hands. There is a kind of peace that does not depend on what changes around you, because it stands watch over what is happening within you. So let this be your understanding as we go deeper. The battle over your stillness is real, but it is not greater than my authority. And the answer is not to become harder, faster, louder, or more guarded. The answer is to yield so I can guard. The answer is to release so I can keep. The answer is to bring what is swirling inside you into the light of my presence, where worry loses its voice and trust takes its rightful place. Because when your heart yields to me, I do not leave it exposed. I surround it, I steady it, I keep it. And I will teach you how to close the doors you have unknowingly left open, so that the peace you have been praying for will not only visit you, it will stand guard over you. My beloved child, hear me now, because I am not leaving you with a vague invitation. I am giving you a revelation that will steady your steps. The peace you want is a gift I guard, yet worry is a door you keep propping open. You have been asking me to cover you, to quiet you, to settle you, while your hands keep returning to the latch of fear, as if you must keep it ajar, just in case. And you do not do this because you love torment. You do it because you have mistaken worry for wisdom. You do it because you have feared that if you stop rehearsing the worst, you will be unprepared. But I am telling you, you are not being prepared by worry. You are being consumed by it. As it is written, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to me, and the peace of God which surpasses understanding will guard your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. My child, I did not place that word guard there by accident. I did not speak of peace as a fragile feeling that visits when circumstances behave. I revealed peace as a defender, as a watchman, as a holy protection posted at the gates of your inner world. There is a peace I give that stands at the doorway of your thoughts and says, you do not enter here to terrorize this child. There is a peace I give that surrounds your heart like a wall, not built by your control, but established by your surrender. But you must see what I have been showing you. Worry is not a small habit. Worry is an agreement. Worry is a rehearsal of fear. It is you repeatedly playing the same dark scene until your body begins to live as though it has already happened. Worry is you trying to feel your way into safety by thinking your way into certainty. And every time you rehearse fear, you amplify the noise. Every time you circle the same possibility, you feed the restlessness. Every time you build another contingency plan fueled by dread, you strengthen the very pattern that keeps you awake. You call it being responsible, but it is often the mind's attempt to be its own God. Thanksgiving, however, is a different rehearsal. Thanksgiving is not denial, it is alignment. It is you choosing, in the middle of uncertainty, to remember who I am. It is you saying, I have seen your faithfulness before, and I will not forget it now. Thanksgiving does not ignore the request. It carries the request into the right atmosphere. Worry says, what if I am not held? Thanksgiving says, I am held. Worry says, what if it falls apart? Thanksgiving says, even if it shakes, you remain. Worry multiplies questions without answers. Thanksgiving anchors you to the answerer. And where thanksgiving rises, space is made not because your life suddenly becomes simple, but because your soul returns to order. My child, this is why I told you, my peace is not produced by your effort, it is released where your trust replaces your worry. There is a release that happens when you stop treating prayer like a momentary drop-off and start treating it like an exchange. Because I have watched you. I have watched you come to me. Finally exhale. Finally say the words. Finally lay it down, and then, when you rise from prayer, you pick it back up again with your thoughts. You set it at my feet with your mouth, and then you retrieve it with your imagination. You say, I give it to you, and then you spend the next hour scanning for outcomes, predicting reactions, preparing for disappointment, rewriting conversations that have not happened, building ladders to climb out of a pit that may never open under you. And the burden returns not because I refuse to take it, but because you refuse to leave it. Beloved, worry is the door you keep propping open. It is the crack in the window you keep insisting must remain, because closing it feels like vulnerability, and I understand why closing it feels scary. When you have been hurt, you learn to keep watch. When you have been blindsided, you learn to anticipate. When you have been disappointed, you learn to brace. But I am not asking you to become careless. I am asking you to come under covering. I am not inviting you into passivity. I am inviting you into trust, because the guarding you crave cannot happen while you insist on standing guard in my place. You were never meant to be the keeper of your own universe. Do you see the imagery, my child? When you pray with thanksgiving, you are not merely speaking words, you are establishing rightful order. You are putting me back on the throne in that area. You are saying, you are God over this outcome, God over this timing, God over this person, God over this provision. And when rightful order is established, peace takes its post. Peace stands watch where surrender has made room. Peace guards the heart that is no longer arguing with me. Peace guards the mind that has stopped treating fear as a consultant. Peace guards the soul that has chosen agreement over anxiety. But when you pray, and then you return to worry, it is as though you dismiss the guard I send and invite the intruder back in. You say, Lord, I trust you, and then you whisper to fear, stay close, I might need you. And fear never comes to help you, my child. It only comes to rule you. It never comes to protect you. It only comes to drain you. It never comes to prepare you. It only comes to rob you of the grace I placed in this moment. And this is why you feel that cycle relief in prayer, heaviness after prayer, because you have not yet learned to leave the burden where you placed it. So I am calling you into a holy practice, not as a formula, but as a return to design. Bring your requests to me, and bring them with thanksgiving, not because I need to be convinced, but because you need to be realigned. Thanksgiving is the language of trust. Thanksgiving is the sound of a heart that remembers it is loved. And when you begin to replace worry with thanksgiving, you are not merely improving your mood, you are closing doors, you are shutting gates, you are ending agreements with fear, you are making room for the guard of my peace to stand where it belongs. And hear me, because I am taking you somewhere deeper. The peace I give you is not the world's peace. The world offers peace as control, peace as predictable outcomes, peace as everything going your way, peace as the absence of conflict. But my Son has spoken, and his promise is near to you now. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. My child, you are about to learn the difference. You are about to step out of the world's counterfeit calm and into the guarded peace that remains, even when the wind still blows, because it is not rooted in your circumstances, it is rooted in me. Yes, my child, hear the words of my Son again, and do not let them become familiar without becoming formed inside you. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. And because I love you, I must reframe this for you, not as poetry you repeat, but as a doorway you walk through. Because you have been asking me for peace, while still defining peace the way the world defines it, and then you wonder why you feel disappointed when your circumstances do not immediately change. The world gives peace by rearranging what is outside of you. The world says, you can rest when the problem disappears. You can breathe when the phone call goes the way you want. You can be okay when the money looks right, when the diagnosis changes, when the person understands you, when the door opens on your timeline, when everyone acts right, when nothing surprises you. The world calls that peace. But it is not peace. My child, it is control, dressed like comfort. It is certainty dressed like safety. It is an outward quiet that depends on everything around you cooperating, and that is why it leaves you the moment something shifts. And you have tried to live by that kind of peace. You have tried to earn rest by making sure every detail is managed. You have tried to secure calm by predicting every outcome. You have tried to create stillness by keeping everyone pleased, by keeping yourself protected, by keeping the future mapped. And that is why your soul has felt so tired, because the world's peace demands you become the center of the system, the manager of the outcomes, the guardian of the timeline. The world's peace places a crown on your head and calls it responsibility, but it is a heavy crown, and it was never yours to wear. But my peace is not the world's peace, and it will not coexist with the throne of self, not because I am harsh, but because I am holy, not because I want to take from you, but because I want to free you. My peace does not move into a heart where you insist on being your own God, your own provider, your own protector, your own guarantee, because that throne is already occupied, and you cannot serve two rulers in one inner room, my beloved. You cannot enthrone me with your mouth while enthroning fear with your habits. You cannot say, lead me, while gripping the wheel so tightly that your knuckles turn white. My peace is not the removal of every storm, but the authority to rest in me within it. My peace is not the instant resolution of every question, but the steady assurance that I am with you while the answer unfolds. My peace is not you controlling life so nothing hurts you, but you abiding in me so you are not ruled by what tries to shake you. And this is why my Son spoke the way he did, because he was not promising you a life without wind. He was promising you a life with an anchor. He was not promising you that nothing would ever tremble. He was promising you that you do not have to tremble with it. There are seasons, my child, when I calm the sea. And there are seasons when I calm my child. And you have been begging me to prove my goodness by changing what is around you. But I am proving my goodness by building what is within you. Because if your peace can only exist when everything is fixed, then you will live enslaved to the next disruption. But if your peace is rooted in my presence, it will remain even when the timeline stretches, even when the process feels slow, even when you are still waiting to see what I have spoken. Christ's peace is presence. It is alignment. It is obedience. It is trust. It is the quiet power of a heart that says, even here, you are God. Even now, you are good. Even though I do not see the whole map, I will take the next step. You show me. This is not passivity, my beloved. This is not you pretending you do not care. This is not you denying what is real. This is you returning to design, allowing me to be the one who holds the outcome while you hold my hand. And listen closely. The reason this kind of peace feels unfamiliar is because it requires surrender where you have practiced control. It requires you to come down from the throne you climbed onto when you were afraid. It requires you to stop negotiating with me through anxiety. Because many times you have said, "I trust you," while secretly adding, "But only if you do it this way, only if you do it by then, only if you make sure I am not misunderstood, only if you prevent the pain I am trying to avoid." And, my child, I am not scolding you for that. I am showing you the hidden conditions that have kept your heart unrested. My peace is released when you let my words be enough before the evidence arrives. My peace increases when you choose obedience over overthinking. My peace strengthens when you stop living as though everything depends on you. And yes, I know you have responsibilities. Yes, I know there are decisions. Yes, I know there are real needs. But the difference is this: you can carry responsibility without carrying sovereignty. You can make wise choices without worshiping certainty. You can plan without bowing to fear. You can work without striving. You can be diligent without being driven. Because the world's peace says, "Once I control tomorrow, I can finally breathe today." But my peace says, "Stay with me today, and you will find the grace I already placed here." And this is where I am turning your gaze, my beloved, because you have been reaching into tomorrow again and again, trying to live there before you are graced for it. You have been importing tomorrow's possibilities into today's body, and then you call it anxiety, and you wonder why today feels suffocating. So let my son's words lead you forward, not into more striving, but into a new way of seeing time. Do not let your heart be troubled, and do not let it be afraid, because the trouble begins when you leave the place of abiding and start building a home in what has not happened yet. You are about to understand what he taught, that chasing tomorrow cannot produce peace. It only multiplies pressure. And I am going to show you how to come back into the portion of grace I set aside for you one day at a time, so that peace will not be something you visit in prayer and lose in thought, but something that remains because you have chosen to abide in me. My beloved child, you must let me say this plainly, because it is touching the very place where your breath has been tight. You keep living in tomorrow, and that is why today feels like it is suffocating you. You have been trying to survive a day that I did not ask you to carry, and you have been paying for a battle that has not even arrived. You wake up and your body is in today, but your mind is already across the bridge, already negotiating outcomes, already rehearsing losses, already preparing for conflicts, already scanning the horizon as if peace will only be permitted once you have mapped every possibility. And you wonder why you feel weak, why your patience is thin, why your joy feels distant, why your soul feels crowded even when the room is quiet. It is because you have been spending tomorrow's strength today. You have been reaching forward to take grace that was appointed for another moment, and you have been trying to pour it into a cup I designed for now, my child. Grace has a rhythm. Mercy has a timing. I do not pour it in bulk for you to hoard in fear. I give it fresh. I give it daily. I give it as you walk with me. And when you live in tomorrow, you starve your soul of the grace I placed in today. As it is written, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. I did not speak that to minimize your real concerns. I did not speak that as a cold command meant to shame you. I spoke it because I know how the heart fractures when it tries to hold too much time at once. Tomorrow has its own portion, and today has its own portion. And when you drag tomorrow into today, you do not become more prepared, you become more burdened. You do not become more discerning, you become more drained. You do not become more responsible, you become more restless. You have called it thinking ahead, but I have watched it become something else. It has become constant forecasting, mentally running 10 scenarios before you ever take one step. It has become scanning for threats, reading between lines, watching faces, interpreting silence, bracing for a tone that has not even come. It has become preparing speeches, drafting what you will say if they accuse you, if they misunderstand you, if they reject you, if they leave. It has become replaying old conversations, rewinding what was said, correcting what you wish you had said, punishing yourself for what you did not foresee. And you do this until your mind is so busy defending you that it cannot receive me. You do this until your inner world is so filled with imagined weight that my gentle instruction feels far away. My child, this is not how I designed you to live. I did not create you merely to exist, but to live fully in meaning, and meaning is found in presence, in obedience, in communion, in the step that is in front of you, not the 1,000 steps you cannot yet see. You keep asking me for the full map, because control demands full map certainty. Control says, show me everything, and then I will obey. Guarantee the outcome, and then I will trust. Remove the risk, and then I will rest. But trust does not live that way. Trust does not demand what only I can hold. Trust says, speak, and I will take the next step. Lead, and I will follow. Give me today, and I will not panic about tomorrow. Provision has always been daily with me, my beloved. When I taught you to pray, I did not tell you to ask for bread for the next year. I taught you to ask, give us this day our daily bread. Because I know how the soul is healed, not by stockpiling certainty, but by learning my faithfulness in real time. Guidance is step by step. Light is given for the next portion of the path. And the reason you have felt such strain is because you have tried to force light into places I have not yet asked you to walk. You have tried to see around corners with anxiety, and then you call the fog silence, when in truth, I am calling you into the humility of daily dependence. Come closer, my child. Let me gently correct the way you are relating to time. You are not called to live ahead of my grace. You are called to abide where my grace is already waiting. Today has breath for you. Today has strength for you. Today has manna for you, enough for the portion I assigned, enough for the obedience I will ask, enough for the conversation you actually have, not the 10 you imagined. And yes, I know tomorrow exists. Yes, I know decisions are coming. Yes, I know responsibilities are real. But hear me, you do not get extra peace by borrowing trouble. You do not get extra wisdom by rehearsing fear. You get clarity by staying close to me. So, I am inviting you now into a holy return. Return to daily bread. Return to today's obedience. Return to today's breath. Return to the small, quiet faithfulness that does not feel dramatic, but is deeply powerful in my hands. When your mind runs ahead, bring it back. When your thoughts start building a courtroom, bring them back. When your imagination starts writing tragedy, bring it back. Not by clenching, not by striving, not by shaming yourself, but by turning your face toward me and saying, Father, I am here. I am with you. Speak to me for this day. Give me grace for this hour. Show me the next faithful step. This is not denial, my child. This is alignment. This is how you stop suffocating by living where I am actually supplying. And now, because I love you, I will take you deeper. Because if you keep running to tomorrow, there is a reason. There is something you are trying to secure. There is something you are trying to prevent. There is something you are trying to guarantee. And I am not exposing this to condemn you, but to free you, because peace cannot fully settle where you still insist on holding what belongs to me. So, let me ask you, my beloved, with tenderness and truth, what exactly are you clutching when you reach into tomorrow? What is the thing you keep trying to manage with your mind? What is the outcome you keep trying to control with your worry? Name it. Bring it into the light with me, because the moment you stop hiding it behind wisdom and being prepared is the moment you will feel the air return to your chest. And the moment you place it back into my hands is the moment today will stop feeling like a prison and start feeling like the place where grace meets you again. My beloved child, do not answer me with general words. Do not say, I just want to be okay, while your hands are wrapped around something specific. Let the light come all the way into the corners. Because I am not asking you this question to accuse you. I am asking you because I intend to heal you. I intend to lift what has been pressing on your chest. I intend to quiet what has been racing through your thoughts. And relief begins when you stop hiding the true object of your striving behind a fog of vague fear and call it what it is. Name what you are clutching. Is it a relationship, this need to hold someone in place so you will not feel the ache of being left again? Is it an outcome you keep turning it over in your mind, replaying how it must go, because you believe your safety depends on it landing a certain way? Is it money, this fear that if you do not calculate every step, if you do not anticipate every expense, if you do not keep checking and checking, then lack will suddenly swallow you? Is it your reputation, this quiet obsession with being understood? with being seen as good, with not being misjudged, with not being talked about, with not being remembered for what you regret? Is it the need to be chosen, the longing to finally feel secure because someone picks you, affirms you, prioritizes you, and you have been trying to control the script so you do not have to risk rejection again? Is it the fear of being disappointed because disappointment has visited you before, and you told yourself you would never be caught unprepared again? So now you keep your heart braced like a fist, calling it wisdom. My child, I see it. I see the place where you tell yourself you are only being careful, but in truth you are being controlled. I see the way you keep returning to the same thought, like touching a sore tooth, as if repeated pressure will somehow change the outcome. I see the way you keep making inner bargains. If I think about it enough, it won't hurt as much. If I expect the worst, I won't be shocked. If I keep control, I won't have to feel vulnerable. And you have not realized that you have been building small altars inside your mind, hidden places where you sacrifice peace to preserve control. An altar is where you place what matters most. An altar is where you bring your devotion. And some of your devotion has been offered, not to me, but to certainty. Not to me, but to approval. Not to me, but to being untouchable. You call it being responsible, but it has become a form of worship, a continual offering of your attention, your sleep, your appetite, your joy, your presence. You lay your peace down on that altar and say, if I can just manage this, I will finally rest. And the altar never gives you rest, my beloved. It only asks for more. It demands another check, another scroll, another conversation rehearsed, another plan built, another night spent in your head. And it keeps you tired, while promising you safety it cannot provide. I see what you do late at night. I see the way the room grows quiet and your mind gets loud. I see you reaching for the phone, not because you want entertainment, but because you want relief. I see you checking messages, checking accounts, checking for signs, checking for changes, checking to see if anything shifted while you were trying to breathe. I see you drafting words you may never send, defending yourself in conversations that have not happened, trying to control the way you will be perceived, trying to control the way you will be treated. I see you negotiating with me in your thoughts. Lord, I trust you, but please, not that. Lord, I believe, but only if it doesn't cost me this. Lord, I surrender, but let me keep this one lever. Let me keep this one guarantee. And I do not say this to shame you. I say it because you have been asking me for peace while keeping your sacrifice on the wrong altar. My child, you think you are protecting yourself, but you are exhausting yourself. You think you are preventing pain, but you are multiplying it. You think you are being wise, but you are living as though wisdom is the ability to control what I alone can hold. Hear me, wisdom is not control. Wisdom is alignment. Wisdom is agreeing with what is true. Wisdom is returning to rightful order. And rightful order begins when you acknowledge, without pretending, this is what I have been holding as if it were my job to secure it. So I am inviting you into confession, not the kind that crushes you, but the kind that cleanses you. Confession is not humiliation, it is exposure for healing. Bring me the specific thing, say it plainly. Father, I have been clutching this person. Father, I have been clutching this outcome. Father, I have been clutching money and fear. Father, I have been clutching the way I am seen. Father, I have been clutching the need to be chosen. Father, I have been clutching the need to never feel disappointment again. And as you name it, do not flinch from my gaze. My gaze is not anger toward you. My gaze is love that refuses to let you stay bound. Because I am not exposing you to condemn you, but to free you. I am not pointing to the altar to punish you, but to tear it down with you. I am not calling you out to embarrass you, but to bring you back into the place where your breath comes easy again. I know why you built it. I know where the fear came from. I know the moment you learned to take control because trust felt unsafe. I know the disappointment that taught you to brace. I know the loss that taught you to grip. And I tell you gently, you do not have to keep living like this. You do not have to keep bleeding peace to keep control. My beloved, peace begins when you stop disguising control as wisdom and place what you're clutching back into, my hands. Not because I need it, but because you do. Not because I am demanding your surrender like a tax, but because surrender is how you come home to design. I did not design you to be the manager of outcomes. I did not design you to be your own savior. I did not create you merely to exist, but to live fully in meaning. And meaning is found where trust replaces striving, where my voice becomes louder than your fear, where your heart is no longer split between me and the thing you are trying to secure. So come, my child, hold it up to me. The thing you have been gripping with your mind, your calendar, your explanations, your constant rehearsing, hold it up, let it be seen. And as it is seen, you will begin to feel the first shift, the loosening, the softening, the return of space inside you. This is the beginning of peace, not as a feeling you chase, but as a reality that enters when the throne of self is vacated and the rightful king is welcomed again. And I will show you, in the next step, how surrender is not loss, but alignment. How releasing control is not the end of your safety, but the beginning of it, because when you place what you are clutching back into my hands, you are not stepping into emptiness. You are returning to the order I designed for your heart, and the guard of my peace will finally have room to stand watch within you. My beloved child, I need you to hear this, with the part of you that has been afraid that letting go means losing. Surrender is not giving up. Surrender is not you admitting defeat. Surrender is not you becoming careless or passive or pretending the weight is not real. Surrender is you coming back into alignment with how I designed you. It is the moment you stop forcing your soul to function like a machine and allow it to return to its true wiring, trust, communion, obedience, and rest in my presence. I did not create you merely to exist, but to live fully in meaning, and control has been shrinking your life, my child, because control always makes life smaller. It narrows your world to what you can predict. It reduces your joy to what you can guarantee. It turns your days into endless management, endless bracing, endless rehearsing, until your heart forgets how to worship without calculating, how to love without guarding, how to move without fear. But surrender restores meaning, because meaning is not found in you holding everything together. Meaning is found in you walking with me, hearing me, responding to me, and discovering that your life is held not by your grip, but by my faithfulness. And listen, anxiety increases when you carry assignments you were never given. Your chest tightens when you try to hold a role I did not place on you. Your mind races when you attempt to be the author of outcomes instead of the faithful steward of obedience. You have been acting like it is your job to secure what only I can sustain. You have been living as though you must protect yourself from every possibility, as though you must foresee every turn, as though you must keep everyone pleased so you will not be hurt, and your soul has been sounding an alarm, not because you are broken, but because you are misaligned, because you have been carrying a yoke that does not fit the shape of your calling. My child, I did not design you to be sovereign. I designed you to be son, to be daughter. I designed you to be led. I designed you to receive. I designed you to trust me enough to obey even when you cannot see the entire road. This is not weakness. This is relationship. This is not you becoming irresponsible. This is you returning to the order of heaven where I am God and you are mine, and the burden of holding the world does not sit on your shoulders. So let me reframe surrender for you, because your wounds have taught you the wrong definition. Surrender is not passivity, but yielded strength. It is strength that no longer wastes itself resisting my hand. It is a will that stops fighting to be in charge and starts agreeing with love. Surrender is not denial, but trust-filled obedience. It does not say, nothing matters. It says, you matter more than my fear. It does not say, there is no storm. It says, there is an anchor. It does not say, I will do nothing. It says, I will do what I am told, when I am told, with the grace you supply. And when you come back into this alignment, something begins to change inside you, quietly but deeply. Your soul stops bracing. That constant clenching, the tightening you have called normal, begins to loosen, because you are no longer preparing to save yourself. Your heart stops scanning. You are not continually searching faces for danger, reading silence like a threat, interpreting every delay like abandonment. Your spirit becomes teachable again, because control makes you rigid, my child. Fear makes you argumentative in your own mind, but surrender makes you soft enough to hear me, flexible enough to be guided, humble enough to learn, steady enough to wait without unraveling. This is why the enemy has fought your surrender so fiercely, because a surrendered heart is a heart that can be led, and a led heart is a heart that cannot be easily trapped. When you are surrendered, You are no longer driven by urgency, you are directed by my voice. When you are surrendered, you are no longer ruled by what might happen. You are rooted in what I have said. When you are surrendered, you stop demanding certainty as the price of peace, and you begin to receive peace as the fruit of trusting me. And hear me, my beloved, you are not losing yourself when you surrender. You are returning to yourself, the self I formed before fear taught you to perform, before disappointment taught you to brace, before loss taught you to grip. You are coming back to the design of trust I built into your relationship with me, because from the beginning, I intended that you would walk with me, not ahead of me, that you would lean on me, not replace me, that you would consult me, not compete with me. Control has been a counterfeit covering, but it has never been your true shelter. I am your shelter, I am your portion, I am your peace. So I am bringing you to the threshold now, and I am asking you to step through it with me, not in a rush, not in panic, not with a dramatic vow you cannot sustain by your own strength, but with a quiet yielding that becomes a new way of living. Because surrender is not a one-time moment you feel in a prayer and then forget in an hour. It is a posture, it is an alignment. It is the daily choice to come out of the throne room of self and return to the place of abiding. And now, my child, I will show you what this looks like in real time, what surrender looks like in your thoughts when they start running, in your choices when fear tries to hurry you, in your habits of the heart when you feel the pull to take control again. I will not leave you with a concept, I will give you a path, because I am not stirring you to expose you and then abandon you. I stir your heart not to condemn you, but to draw you into clarity, into order, into the guarded peace that belongs to you when you live aligned with me. Now, my child, I will make it simple enough for your trembling heart and strong enough for your stubborn patterns, because you have tried to surrender in theory while still gripping in practice, and you have wondered why peace comes for a moment and then slips away again. Hear me, surrender becomes real when you release, when you receive, and when you respond, not as a performance, not as a dramatic moment that impresses anyone, but as a living exchange, burden out, presence in, obedience forward. First, release. Do not release with vague words that let the root remain hidden. Do not say, Lord, help me, and then keep the same weight tucked under your tongue. Put language on the burden, my beloved, because what you name you can place, and what you place you can stop carrying. Speak it out, even if your voice shakes, even if you whisper it in the quiet where no one else can hear. Father, I give you this relationship I have been trying to control. Father, I give you this outcome I have been demanding. Father, I give you this fear about money. Father, I give you this need to be understood. Father, I give you this pressure to fix what I cannot fix. Bring the specific thing, the exact thing, the thing your mind circles when the lights go out, and hand it to me without editing it to sound holy. And as you release it, let me correct something gently. Do not make peace your idol. You have been chasing peace as though peace is the goal, as though peace is the proof that you are safe, as though peace is the reward you earn by doing everything correctly. But I am the center, my child. I am not a tool you use to feel calm. I am your God, your Father, your portion. Seek me, not a feeling. Surrender is not you bargaining for calm. It is you returning to love. So release the burden, and release the demand that you must feel a certain way in order to trust me. Give me the burden, and give me the right to be God, even while your emotions are still catching up. Then, receive. After you hand it over, do not immediately snatch it back by rehearsing it again. This is where many of my children stumble. They release with their mouth, but they keep holding with their mind. So I am teaching you a holy pause. Invite my Spirit into the space you just cleared. Say, Holy Spirit, come. And then be still long enough to notice that I am actually present. Let my presence replace the mental noise you have called normal. Breathe, my child. Slow your breath as an act of faith, not as a technique, but as a declaration to your own body. I am not in charge of holding everything together. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let your stomach soften. You have been braced for so long that tension has felt like wisdom, but it is not. Softening is not carelessness. It is trust. When you allow your body to relax in my presence, you are telling your soul, the battle does not belong to me alone. I am not abandoned. I am held. And I will meet you there, not with condemnation, but with a stillness that teaches you again what safety feels like. And while you are receiving, Let me give you truth to rest on. My peace is not fragile, my peace is guarded. As it is written, I will keep in perfect peace the one whose mind is stayed on me, because they trust in me. And as it is written, the peace I give is not as the world gives. The world gives peace when everything is controlled. I give peace when you are connected. The world gives peace when nothing is threatened. I give peace when you are anchored. So receive my presence like bread. Receive my stillness like water. Do not rush past the moment where I am healing you. Then respond. Because surrender is not only what you stop doing, it is what you start doing under my lead. Obedience is the language of surrender, my beloved. Not a 10-step guarantee, not 100 plans to prevent pain, not a full map that makes you feel untouchable, one obedient step. Ask me, what is the next thing you are telling me to do? And when I answer, do not argue with the simplicity of it. Sometimes the next step is a conversation you have been avoiding. Sometimes it is an apology. Sometimes it is resting, going to sleep, turning the phone off. Sometimes it is making a wise decision you have delayed because you wanted zero risk. Sometimes it is setting a boundary. Sometimes it is returning to a habit of prayer in the morning before the noise begins. Whatever it is, take one step with me. You have been trying to obey tomorrow's instructions today, and it has made you overwhelmed. I am calling you back to the next step, because the next step is where grace lives. And when your mind returns to control, and it will try, because patterns do not die quietly, set a boundary with rumination. Do not entertain the spiral as though it is problem solving. Rumination is not wisdom, it is a doorway. So when the thought comes back, do not wrestle it for an hour. Return immediately to thanksgiving. Return to truth. Say, Father, thank you that you are holding what I released. Say, Father, thank you that you are good even when I cannot see the outcome. Say, Father, thank you that you have never failed me. And scent your mind with scripture, again simple, steady, sharp like a sword, and gentle like oil. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. When I am afraid, I will trust in you. Cast your cares on me, because I care for you. Let truth interrupt the cycle, not because you are pretending the burden is not real, but because you are refusing to bow to it. And hear me, my child, this is why you are hearing this now. It is no accident that your heart has been stirred. I am giving you a sacred window, a moment where I am near, where your awareness is awake, where the old patterns are being named so they can be broken. Do not delay the yielding that will heal your inner world, because delay is not neutral. Delay keeps the door open to turmoil. Delay gives the enemy more room to whisper, more room to agitate, more room to wear you down with what if, and you must fix this, and you cannot rest. But response closes the door. Response seals the exchange. Response makes room for my peace to stand guard like a watchman over your mind. So do it now, my beloved. Release the specific burden. Receive my spirit's stillness. Respond with one obedient step. And when you do, you will begin to feel what you have been begging for, not as something you manufacture, but as something I establish. Not as a thin calm that breaks when life shakes, but as a guarded peace that remains, because your heart is yielded and your mind is learning to stay with me. The rhythm of grace is leading you into a new season, and this is how you step into it, not by controlling your way forward, but by surrendering your way into my care. My beloved child, do not treat what you feel right now as ordinary. Do not label this stirring as mere emotion, as though it is just another wave that will pass if you distract yourself long enough. It is no accident that your heart has been awakened at this precise moment. There are doors of grace that stand open only for a brief sacred span, and what you are sensing is not pressure from me, but invitation, heaven calling you out of an old cycle before it becomes an old identity. Because you have lived long enough in patterns that repeat to recognize them. You know the loop. You tell yourself you will surrender later, and later becomes another night of overthinking. Later becomes another week of carrying what you cannot fix. Later becomes another conversation rehearsed, another plan built in fear, another attempt to control outcomes so you can finally breathe. And the enemy does not need to destroy you in one dramatic moment. If he can keep you postponing the one thing that would heal you, he will settle for delay. My child, because delay keeps you tired. Delay keeps you braced. Delay keeps your inner world loud, and when your inner world is loud, it becomes harder for you to hear my voice clearly. Hear me. Postponing surrender does not pause the lesson. It extends it. It does not protect you. It prolongs the ache. It does not buy you time, it steals your peace. And some of what you have called waiting has not been faith at all, it has been negotiation. It has been you saying, I will obey when I feel ready. I will trust when I feel calm. I will release when I have enough information. I will yield when I can guarantee the outcome. But I did not ask you to demand certainty before obedience. I asked you to walk with me. I asked you to trust me. I asked you to take the next step while holding my hand, not while holding every answer. My child, I am not speaking urgently to frighten you. I am speaking urgently to protect you. I see what this weight is doing to you. I see what it is doing to your sleep, to your appetite, to your patience, to your tenderness, to the way you respond to people you love. I see how it is shrinking your capacity to enjoy the day I gave you. And I will not stand by quietly while you carry what is killing your rest and call it responsibility. I will not let you make a covenant with anxiety and call it wisdom. I am interrupting you because I love you. I am stirring you because I intend to heal you. I am calling you into surrender, not because I am demanding something from you, but because I am rescuing you from what has been demanding everything from you. So, do not harden your heart in this moment. Do not brace against me. There is a way you have learned to brace that feels like strength, but it is actually fear wearing armor. You tighten first. You calculate first. You prepare for disappointment first. You look for what could go wrong first. And then you come to me with whatever is left, asking me to bless what your control has already decided. But I am inviting you into a different kind of strength, decisive, softness. A softness that does not collapse, but yields. A softness that does not deny reality, but refuses to be ruled by it. A softness that says, Father, I will not clench around this anymore. I will not negotiate with you anymore. I will not demand proof before trust. I will obey the next instruction you give, and I will let your peace guard what my striving could never secure. This is the sacred window, my beloved. This moment right here when your heart is tender enough to hear, when your spirit is awake enough to recognize the pattern, when the old way of carrying is being exposed, and you can feel how weary you are of it. Do not waste this moment by scrolling past it in your soul. Do not let it become another message you heard and admired while returning to the same altar of control. Respond now, because response is how you step through the door. Response is how you close the door to torment. Response is how you make room for my peace, to enter fully, not as a visitor, but as a guard. And I tell you this gently. You have learned the hard way that delay is not neutral. Delay keeps the cycle breathing. Delay keeps the whisper alive. Delay keeps the what-if fed. Delay keeps you living in tomorrow while today suffocates you. But when you yield, quickly, simply, sincerely, something breaks. Not because you became perfect, but because you changed posture. You stopped fighting to be your own covering. You stopped volunteering to be the manager of outcomes. You stopped trying to predict everything so you could avoid pain. And in that surrendered space, I do what you cannot do. I settle the storm inside you. I restore order to your thoughts. I quiet the inner noise enough for you to recognize my direction again. So, I am asking you for a holy decision. Not a dramatic vow you make in emotion and forget when you wake up, but a quiet, grounded yes. A yes that sounds like, Father, I yield now. A yes that sounds like, I will stop bargaining. A yes that sounds like, I will stop insisting on clarity before obedience. A yes that sounds like, I trust you with what I cannot control, because peace comes fully when you surrender control. My peace is not produced by your striving. It is released through trust and alignment with my design. And my child, you do not have to do this alone in your heart, where fear can argue with you in the dark. Surrender grows when it is confessed. Trust strengthens when it is spoken. Agreement is not performance. Agreement is alignment. This is why I will now lead you into a simple response, because when you put your yes into words, you are closing the door to double-mindedness. When you say it, you are teaching your own soul what it will follow. When you agree, you are reinforcing the new posture, heart yielded, mind guarded, life aligned. So come into agreement with me, my beloved. Do not wait for a better moment. Do not wait for a calmer day. Do not wait for the perfect feeling. Let this be the moment you answer the stirring with surrender. And as you do, peace will have room to enter. room to stand, watch, room to carry you into the new season. The rhythm of grace has been preparing. Now, my beloved child, before we go deeper, I want you to respond because agreement is a form of surrender, and surrender is not meant to stay hidden in the quiet corners of your heart where fear can keep negotiating. I am not asking you for a performance. I am not asking you to prove anything to anyone. I am simply inviting you to let your outer action match your inner yes, so your soul can stop wavering between two thrones. So if your heart is choosing trust over control, even if it is trembling, even if it is learning, even if it is only beginning, let that agreement be marked. Gently tap the like as a small act of surrender, a simple sign that says, I'm not fighting this word, I'm receiving it. I'm choosing trust over control. That small motion is not about a button, my child. It is about alignment. It is you training your own heart to stop resisting what will heal you. And if you desire these daily words, words that steady you, words that train you to yield, words that help you recognize when you are slipping back into striving, then subscribe, my beloved. Not because you need more noise, but because you need a consistent rhythm that calls you back to me. You have been trained by pressure, trained by urgency, trained by fear to react first and listen later. But I am retraining you by grace. I am teaching you to pause, to breathe, to release, to receive, to respond with my Spirit's clarity. And when you choose to stay in that rhythm, you are not just collecting messages, you are building a new reflex in your soul. You are learning to return quickly. You are learning to come back into alignment before the spiral grows loud again. And now, my child, I want you to speak agreement with your own mouth and your own hands, because confession closes doors. Type it in the comments, not as a ritual, not as superstition, but as a declaration that your heart can read when the enemy tries to challenge you later. Type, I surrender and I receive God's peace. Let it be plain, let it be simple. Let it be your yes in words. Because when you say, I surrender, you are stepping down from the role you were never meant to carry. And when you say, I receive God's peace, you are opening your hands to what only I can give. You have spent so long gripping, my beloved, that your hands forgot what receiving feels like. This is how you remember. And if you know someone whose mind has been racing, someone who has been living in tomorrow, suffocating in what-ifs, exhausted from trying to manage outcomes, share this with them, not as promotion, not as noise. Send it as peace. Send it as a quiet rescue. Because there are hearts you love that have been bracing in the dark, arguing with fear and silence, and they do not need another opinion. They need an interruption from me. They need permission to exhale. They need a reminder that they are not abandoned, that they are not failing because they feel tired, that peace is not something they must manufacture with perfect control. When you share it, you are not sending content, you are extending an invitation. Come back into stillness, come back into trust, come back into the hands that hold you. And listen to me closely, my child, because I do not want you to fear surrender as though release will leave you empty. I do not ask you to open your hands so the wind can take what you love and leave you with nothing. I ask you to open your hands so I can place in them what control has been keeping you from receiving. The enemy has lied to you, telling you that if you let go, you will fall, that if you stop gripping, everything will collapse, that if you stop rehearsing every outcome, you will be unprepared and ashamed. But I tell you the truth, when you release what you cannot control, you are not stepping into emptiness, you are stepping into my care. You are not losing your covering, you are returning to it. You are not becoming unsafe, you are becoming aligned. So let this moment be sealed with agreement. Let your heart stop bargaining. Let your mind stop arguing. Let your spirit stop postponing what is already healing you. You are not behind because you are learning. You are not disqualified because you have struggled. I am not disappointed in you because it has been hard. I see the weight you have carried. I see the way you tried to be strong. I see the nights you could not shut your thoughts off. And I am speaking to you now, not to condemn you, but to draw you into trust, into order, into the guarded peace that belongs to you. Now we will go deeper, my beloved, and as we do, hold on to this. I will not leave you empty-handed when you release control. I will meet you in the space you clear. I will fill what you stop forcing. I will guard what you stop gripping. And the peace you have been asking for will not be a thin calm. You must defend with constant effort. It will be my peace, established and guarded as you abide in me and align with my design. Now listen to me, my beloved child, because this is where fear tries to speak the loudest, right at the edge of release. You have been brave enough to open your hands, but you are still afraid of what that opening will cost you. You are afraid that surrender will mean loss you cannot recover, humiliation you cannot hide from, abandonment you cannot survive. You are afraid that if you stop managing every outcome, you will be exposed. You are afraid that if you stop controlling the story, you will be blamed. You are afraid that if you stop bracing, life will hit you again in the same place it did before. And I am not offended by that fear, my child. I see where it came from. I saw the moments you trusted, and it did not feel protected. I saw when you were honest and someone used it against you. I saw when you depended on someone and they were inconsistent, and your heart learned a painful lesson. If I do not hold it together, it will fall apart. I saw when you prayed and you did not understand my timing, and you wondered if surrender meant silence, if trust meant being left to figure it out alone. So you built a system, you built control, you built the habit of gripping, and you called it wisdom because it helped you survive. But hear me, my beloved, what helped you survive is not what will heal you. What kept you functioning is not what will keep you free. Control has felt like safety, but it has become a cage around your soul. It has narrowed your breath, it has tightened your body, it has shortened your patience. It has trained your mind to scan for threats even in moments meant for rest. And you have grown so used to the tension that peace has felt unfamiliar, as though calm is a trap and stillness is dangerous. This is why I am speaking to you so tenderly and so firmly, because I am not trying to take something from you, I am trying to lead you out. My child, I do not demand surrender to punish you. I do not call you to yield so I can watch you struggle. I invite surrender because I intend to carry you. I do not ask you to release control so you can feel powerless. I ask you to release it so you can remember who has power and who has always been holding you, even when you could not feel my hand. You think you are standing over emptiness, but you are standing over my faithfulness. You think you are stepping into the unknown, but you are stepping into the one who knows. You think letting go means you will fall, but I tell you the truth. When you let go, I do not let you fall. My hand was under the fear the whole time. Because the enemy has preached to you in whispers. He has told you, if you surrender, you will be disappointed. He has told you, if you stop controlling, you will be embarrassed. He has told you, if you trust, you will be betrayed again. And he has used your history like evidence, trying to make you believe that your past pain is a prophecy for your future. But I am breaking that lie, my child. Your past pain is not your master. Your history is not your ceiling. And the places where trust hurt you were not proof that trust is foolish. They were proof that you placed weight on human hands that were never meant to replace mine. So let me reframe this for you with the gentleness of a father and the authority of a king. Surrender is not you walking away from responsibility. It is you walking away from false responsibility. It is you stepping down from the throne of self where you have been exhausted, anxious, and overburdened, and returning to the covering you were designed to live under. I did not create you merely to exist, but to live fully in meaning, and you cannot live fully while you are living braced. You cannot hear me clearly while your mind is screaming instructions at you. You cannot be restored while you are constantly rehearsing disaster as though fear is preparation. And I know, my beloved, there is a grief attached to letting go, because part of you believes that if you stop controlling, you stop caring. Part of you believes that if you release, you will become careless, you will miss something, you will fail someone. But I am teaching you the difference between faithfulness and fear. Faithfulness obeys what I ask. Fear tries to predict what I never told you. Faithfulness sets wise boundaries and takes the next step with me. Fear builds a prison of overthinking and calls it protection. My child, caring is not the same as carrying. Love is not the same as strain. You can love deeply without gripping desperately. You can be diligent without being tormented. You can plan with wisdom without worshiping control. So I am inviting you, even now, to feel the steadiness of me beneath you. Let your soul test my promise. Let your body learn that it does not have to be on alert to be safe. Let your mind practice a new sentence when the old panic rises. Father, I am in your hands. Not someday, not when everything is resolved. Now, in the unresolved, in the in-between, in the place where you used to spiral. Say it again, my child, until the lie loses its power. I am not stepping into emptiness. I am stepping into your hands. And as surrender takes root, you will begin to see what my peace looks like in you, not as a concept, but as fruit. Your thoughts will become less hunted, less chased, less frantic. The same triggers that once pulled you into hours of rumination will meet a guarded mind that knows how to return to me quickly. Your body will soften, shoulders no longer living near your ears, jaw no longer locked, breath no longer shallow, as though you are always running from something. Your reactions will become gentler, slower, steadier, because urgency will no longer be your ruler. And your decisions will begin to carry the quiet weight of alignment, not driven by panic, not rushed by pressure, but guided by my Spirit's clarity. Even your relationships, my beloved, will feel the change, because control has made you defensive. It has made you quick to explain, quick to prove, quick to protect yourself from being misunderstood. But when you are held by me, you will not need to fight for worth every time you feel uncertain. You will be able to listen without bracing. You will be able to speak without fear. You will be able to say no without guilt, and yes without anxiety, because you will no longer be trying to secure yourself through people's approval or outcomes you can manage. This is comfort after confrontation, my child. This is the moment where my correction becomes your covering, and my invitation becomes your rest. I did not expose control to shame you. I exposed it to free you. I did not call you to surrender to make you small. I called you to surrender so you could finally breathe. And I am telling you now, in the most tender and unshakable way, you are not alone on the edge of release. You are not suspended over nothing. You are not risking your life by trusting me. You are returning to the safest place you have ever been, the hands that formed you, the hands that kept you, the hands that have been beneath you even in the nights you thought you were falling. So let go again, my beloved, not with terror, but with trust. Not with a flinch, but with a yes. And watch how peace begins to show itself not as something you chase, but as something that begins to guard you, reshape you, and carry you into the new season. The rhythm of grace has been preparing. And now, my beloved child, I want you to recognize what my peace will look like in you, because I do not call you to surrender and then leave you guessing whether anything has changed. I am not vague with you to keep you uncertain. I give fruit. I give evidence. I let peace become visible, not so you will boast, but so you will be strengthened, so you will know that what I am doing in you is real, and so you will stop returning to old panic as though it is your only language. My peace will begin to guard your thoughts, not because you will never face pressure again, and not because life will suddenly stop demanding things from you, but because your mind will no longer be left unprotected, wandering into every worst-case outcome as though fear is wisdom. You will notice it, my child, in the small moments first. A thought will try to pull you into a spiral, and instead of following it all the way down, you will feel an interruption, my Spirit reminding you, come back. You will return quicker. You will not have to rehearse every disaster to feel prepared. You will not have to solve everything at midnight to feel safe. And even when a worry knocks, it will not move in and take over your house the way it used to, because you will learn to close the door with prayer, with truth, with trust, with a quiet sentence that steadies you. Father, you are here. Father, you are holding this. And over time, you will feel your rhythms being restored. I am not only interested in how you sound in public, I am healing what happens in you when no one is watching, how you sleep, how you breathe, how your body carries your days. You have been living as though rest must be earned and peace must be defended, but my peace teaches you that you can lay down without guilt. You will not always fall asleep instantly, but you will stop fighting the night like an enemy. The late hours will no longer be a courtroom where you are put on trial by your own thoughts. You will begin to drift into rest with less bargaining, less scrolling, less striving, because your soul will be learning that I remain God even while you are unconscious. You will wake with less dread. You will have moments where your first breath of the day is not a rush, but a receive. And that is not weakness. My child, that is healing. And you will notice something else. Urgency will no longer be your ruler. You have been living with a sense of invisible countdown, as though if you do not fix it now, if you do not respond now, if you do not control it now, everything will collapse. But my peace breaks that tyranny. You will still be responsible, still diligent, still wise, but you will not be driven. You will move from assignment, not adrenaline. You will respond from clarity, not panic. You will begin to do one thing at a time again, without your mind splitting into 10 directions, without your heart living in the next hour, while your body is trapped in this one. And you will realize how much of your exhaustion was not from what you were doing, but from how you were doing it, carrying it alone, carrying it ahead of time, carrying it as though you were the savior of outcomes. And yes, my beloved, my peace will change the way you love people, because control has made you speak in ways that sound like protection but feel like pressure. You have asked questions that were really tests. You have offered help that was really a way to manage. You have explained yourself too much, not because you are dishonest, but because you have been afraid of being misunderstood and left uncovered. But when you are held by me, you will not need to manage people to feel safe. Your words will soften, your tone will steady. You will stop trying to force reassurance out of others, because you will be receiving assurance from me. You will set boundaries without anger. You will say no without a long defense. You will stop agreeing just to prevent conflict, and you will stop withholding love just to feel in control. Patience will begin to grow in you, not the patience of resignation, but the patience of trust. You will be able to wait without punishing the people around you for not moving fast enough. You will be able to let someone be human without making their humanity a threat. You will be able to pause before you react, because your nervous system will no longer be trained to interpret every delay as danger. That is my peace in your relationships, my child. Less monitoring, less testing, less gripping, more honesty, more steadiness, more room for grace. And my peace will also show itself in the way you make decisions. You have been choosing under pressure, choosing while afraid, choosing while desperate for relief. And desperation makes you reach for quick answers that look like escape. But I am teaching you to choose from my Spirit's clarity. You will begin to sense the difference between a door I have opened and a door you are trying to break down because anxiety is loud. You will learn to move without needing perfect certainty, because you will trust my leadership more than your calculations. You will take the next obedient step even when you cannot see 10 steps ahead, because you will know that I do not guide you by giving you every detail. I guide you by giving you my presence. This is what it means to be led, my beloved. Not that you never feel uncertainty, but that uncertainty no longer becomes your master. Not that you never face hard choices, but that hard choices no longer steal your breath. Not that you deny reality, but that you interpret reality through my promises instead of through fear's predictions. For hear me clearly, peace is not denial. Peace is not pretending it does not hurt. Peace is not pretending the bills, the diagnosis, the conversation, the waiting, the unknown do not exist. Peace is trust anchored in me while you walk through what exists. Peace is a heart that says, even here God is with me. Even now, God is faithful. Even in this, God is working. Peace is not the absence of waves. It is the presence of me in the boat. Peace is not the world becoming quiet first. It is your soul becoming aligned first. So do not measure my peace by whether you have questions. Measure it by whether those questions still control you. Do not measure my peace by whether you feel emotion. Measure it by whether emotion still drives you. My peace can sit beside tears. My peace can hold you through grief. My peace can steady you in uncertainty. My peace does not require a perfect life. It requires a yielded heart. And when your heart is yielded, your mind becomes guarded. And when your mind is guarded, your choices become steadier. And when your choices become steadier, your life begins to look like alignment instead of survival. And now, my child, because peace becomes real when it becomes specific, I am not asking you to surrender in general. I am inviting you to bring the exact burden, the one your mind returns to when the room gets quiet, the one you keep trying to manage, the one you have been carrying like a secret weight in your chest. Bring that thing to me. Name it without fear. Hold it with open hands. Because you have heard my word, and you have felt the stirring, and you have seen the pattern, and you have recognized the cost of control, and now I will lead you into an exchange. Do not rush past this. My beloved, stay with me. Let the very area that has been stealing your sleep become the place where you learn surrender. Let the very thought that has been chasing you become the place where you learn to return to prayer. I'm going to help you release it, and I'm going to help you receive what you cannot manufacture. And as you pray with me, you will feel the door of worry closing. And you will feel the door of peace opening, not because your circumstances instantly obey you, but because your soul is coming back under my covering. Now come, my child, bring it to me, and let us pray. Father, my beloved child is here, and you see the weight they have been carrying. You have seen the places where their mind would not rest, the places where their chest would tighten, the places where they smiled on the outside but were bracing on the inside. You have counted every tear that was swallowed so no one would know how tired they felt. You have watched them try to be strong, try to be wise, try to be prepared, and you have not turned away from them. So we come now, not to perform, not to impress, not to earn, only to return, only to come back under the covering that has been waiting for them all along. And now, Father, we confess with humility and with honesty, we have been trying to control what only you can hold. We have been gripping outcomes as though our hands were the hinge of the future. We have been negotiating with fear, calling it planning, calling it responsibility, calling it wisdom, when it was truly a false refuge. So, we release it now. We release the outcome we keep rehearsing. We release the timeline we keep trying to force. We release the conversation we keep replaying. We release the relationship we have been trying to manage through anxiety. We release the reputation we have been trying to protect through over-explaining and over-proving. We release the need to be understood by everyone. We release the need to be approved by everyone. We release the need to make everything make sense before we obey. We release the burden of fixing what we did not create and cannot control. Father, we name it plainly. Control has been a throne we climbed onto when we felt afraid. Control has been a shelter we ran into when we felt uncertain. Control has been the habit we built when pain taught us to brace. But today we step down. Today we come out. Today we stop hiding behind what drains us. Forgive us for the ways we have carried tomorrow as though you were not already there. Forgive us for the ways we have tried to secure ourselves with striving instead of surrender. Forgive us for the ways we have treated worry like a tool, when it has been a door we kept propping open. We do not say this to shame ourselves. Father, we say it to come into alignment. We say it because we want to be free. And now, Father, we ask for the exchange you promised. We place anxiety in your hands, and we receive your peace. We lay down striving, and we receive rest. We lay down confusion, and we receive clarity. We lay down the racing mind, and we receive a guarded mind. We lay down the heaviness in our chest, and we receive the lightness of your presence. We lay down the need to control every step, and we receive the grace for the next obedient step. Breathe on this child now, Father. Let your Spirit settle them, not as a temporary calm they must defend, but as a holy covering that guards them from the inside out. And Father, as it is written, we choose in this moment to be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, to make our requests known to you. So we speak our requests plainly, without apology. Guide us. Provide for us. Heal what needs healing. Restore what has been strained. Close the doors we keep trying to walk through that were never meant for us. Open the doors you have prepared that we cannot force in our own strength. Give us wisdom that is pure and peaceable. Give us discernment that is steady. Give us courage that does not come from adrenaline, but from intimacy with you. Teach us to wait without spiraling. Teach us to move without rushing. Teach us to trust without needing to control. And now we thank you, Father, because thanksgiving is warfare, and praise silences the voice of the accuser. We thank you in advance for the provision we cannot see yet. We thank you in advance for the guidance we have been asking for. We thank you in advance for the strength that will meet us in the moment, not before the moment. We thank you that you are not confused about our path. We thank you that you are not threatened by the uncertainty we feel. We thank you that you are faithful, even when our emotions fluctuate. We thank you that you are working in what feels delayed. We thank you that you are guarding what we are surrendering. We thank you that you are not only the God of peace, but the God who gives peace, and that your peace is not fragile, not thin, not conditional, not dependent on perfect circumstances. It is a gift you guard. So let the peace of God, your peace, Father, which surpasses understanding, now guard this child's heart and mind. Guard their thoughts when they try to wander into fear's predictions. Guard their emotions when old triggers rise. Guard their sleep. Guard their decisions. Guard their mouth, so they do not speak from panic. Guard their relationships, so they do not love from control. Guard their days, so they do not live under tyranny of urgency. Let your peace stand at the door of their inner world like a watchman, refusing entry to torment, refusing entry to dread, refusing entry to the old cycle of rehearsing disaster. And when worry knocks, remind them that they have already surrendered. Remind them that they have already placed it in your hands. Remind them that they are already held. Father, seal this surrender, make it specific, and make it lasting. When this child reaches for control again out of habit, gently interrupt them. When they begin to spiral, call them back quickly. When they feel the urge to force an outcome, steady them with your presence. Teach their body what safety feels like in you. Teach their mind what quiet feels like under your covering. Teach their spirit what alignment feels like when it is no longer divided between trust and fear. And now, my child, with this prayer prayed, do not stand up and pick the burden back up. Do not leave this altar and return to the same old gripping. You have released it, you have received, you have asked, and you have thanked, and heaven has heard you. So now we will shift from prayer into declaration, because surrender is not only something you feel, it is something you speak. And the peace I have given you is not only comfort, it is authority. So lift your head, my beloved, and let your mouth agree with what I have done in you. We will declare it now. Now speak with me, my beloved child. Do not whisper like one unsure of what has been given. Do not declare like one begging. Declare like one who has surrendered and is now standing under my covering. Let your mouth come into agreement with your spirit. Let your words align with my design. For I have not called you to be ruled by fear. I have called you to be led by my peace. Say it, my child. I am not ruled by fear. I am not governed by urgency. I am not driven by anxious predictions. I am not controlled by the need to know everything before I obey. My heart is yielded to God, and my mind is guarded by His peace. I return to His design, daily trust, daily bread, daily grace. I will not live 10 steps ahead, and I will not starve my soul by living in tomorrow. Today has grace, and I will receive it. Today has strength, and it will find me. Today has mercy, and it will cover me. I am not alone in this day. God is here in this day. And what He requires of me is not frantic control, but faithful surrender. Declare it again, my beloved. I release the need to manage what belongs to God. I release the burden of outcomes. I release the obsession with timelines. I release the need to force doors that can only open by His hand. I release the habit of rehearsing conversations to protect myself from pain. I release the need to be understood by everyone in order to feel safe. I step down from the throne of self, and I return to the shelter of the Almighty. I will plan with wisdom, but I will not worship control. I will be diligent, but I will not be tormented. I will take the next obedient step, and I will leave the rest in His hands. Caring is not carrying, and I will not carry what I was never designed to hold. And now, my child, take your warfare posture not by striving, but by resting in me. Declare it. Weariness will not mute God's voice. Exhaustion will not become my identity. I will not wear fatigue like a sentence over my future. I will not live as though my tiredness is proof that God is far. I recognize the battle over my inner stillness, and I refuse the lie that says I must be loud to be heard, frantic to be safe, anxious to be prepared. I will rest and still hear Him. I will be still and still discern. I will breathe and still receive direction. The enemy will not steal my hearing by keeping me hurried. The enemy will not drown out the whisper of God with the noise of my own panic. I choose quiet. I choose prayer. I choose return. I choose the discipline of coming back quickly when my mind begins to run. Declare the gift of Jesus over your soul, my beloved, because this is not a peace you manufacture, it is a peace you receive. Say it, the peace of Christ is not fragile in me. It does not depend on perfect circumstances. It does not collapse when answers take time. It does not leave when uncertainty shows up. It remains even while the details unfold. It remains while I wait. It remains while I work. It remains while I heal. It remains while I learn. The peace of Christ guards my heart and guards my mind, and even if my emotions rise, peace will steady me. Even if my hands tremble, peace will hold me. Even if I do not understand yet, peace will keep me anchored to the one who does. Now declare your alignment, my child, because alignment is protection. Say it. I return to the simplicity of faith. I return to daily bread. I return to daily grace. I return to the God who is already in my tomorrow, so I do not have to live there. I will not borrow trouble from the future. I will not build a home in worst-case scenarios. I will not call worry wisdom again. I will not prop open the door to torment with endless what-ifs. I shut that door. I close it with prayer. I close it with thanksgiving. I close it with truth, and I open the door to peace. I open the door to trust. I open the door to obedience. I open the door to the quiet leadership of the Holy Spirit. And because peace will have fruit, declare the fruit before you feel it, my beloved. Say it. My thoughts are being guarded. My reactions are being softened. My choices are being steadied. I will pause before I respond. I will not speak from panic. I will not love from control. I will not make decisions from desperation. I will listen. I will wait when God says wait. I will move when God says move. I am led, not pushed. I am guided, not driven. I am covered, not exposed. I am held, not suspended. My Father is faithful, and His hand is under me. My mind is learning quiet. My body is learning safety. My spirit is learning alignment, and the rhythm of grace is leading me into a new season. Now let this be sealed in you, my child, not as a moment that fades, but as a covenant you keep returning to. Let these words not be a performance, but an agreement. When fear tries to rise again, you will answer it with surrender. When control tries to call your name again, you will step back into my hands. When weariness tries to tell you that you cannot hear me, you will rest and you will listen, because I am not only speaking in storms, I am speaking in stillness, and I will meet you there. So breathe, my beloved, let your shoulders drop, let your jaw unclench, let your heart stay open, and carry this with you as you leave this altar. Peace is your portion. When your heart is yielded and your mind is guarded by me, do not rush away from this. Do not treat surrender like a single prayer you prayed. I am teaching you a way of living, an open hand, a quiet mind, a steady spirit, a guarded heart. And in the next moments, I will show you how to keep the door open, how to protect what has been planted, and how to let peace finish its work in you as you step forward into what I have prepared. And now, my beloved child, do not let this be a beautiful moment that you admire and then abandon. Do not step away from this altar and return to the same old habits as though nothing has changed. For surrender is not a single sentence you said once. Surrender is a daily returning. It is a holy reflex you build. It is what you do when control rises up again and tries to call itself wisdom. It is what you do when your mind starts racing and your body starts bracing. You return without shame, without drama, without delay. You return to prayer. You return to thanksgiving. You return to the quiet place where your soul remembers who holds you. Because I am teaching you, my child, how to keep the door open, not the door to worry, no, that door is closing, but the door to peace, the door to trust, the door to obedience. And you will protect this door the way you protect something precious, because it is precious. You will notice sooner when you are propping open the old door with what-ifs. You will notice sooner when you are trying to control outcomes to soothe your fear. And in that moment, you will not punish yourself. You will simply come back. You will say, Father, I surrender again. You will say, Father, I thank you again. You will say, Father, I receive your peace again. And peace will not be fragile in you, because it is not held together by your perfect discipline. It is held together by my faithful presence and your willingness to return. So I am asking you now, as an act of agreement, as a seed you place in the ground, write it again, my beloved. Put it in the comments, not as a performance, but as a covenant between your heart and mine. Let your fingers preach to your fear. Let your mouth remind your mind. Say it plainly. I surrender, and I receive God's peace. Say it again, until your anxious places learn a new language. I surrender, and I receive God's peace. And when you see those words later, when you come back and you read them again, it will not be a memory. It will be a doorway back into alignment. And my child, if there is a specific place you have been gripping, name it. Bring it into the light. Put your prayer request there, because you were never designed to battle alone. Some of you are surrendering a relationship you have been trying to manage, trying to fix, trying to control through over-explaining and overworking. Some of you are surrendering finances, the weight of provision, the fear of not having enough. Some of you are surrendering health, the diagnosis, the symptoms, the waiting, the uncertainty. Some of you are surrendering your calling, what you are meant to do, when it will happen, whether you missed it, whether you are behind. Some of you are surrendering anxiety itself, the cycle, the spirals, the nights that feel too loud. Tell me, and let my people agree with you. Let the community that hears this word become a house of prayer around you. For agreement is not small. Agreement is warfare. When another voice joins yours in faith, it strengthens what is being rebuilt inside you. And listen closely, my beloved. If you know someone who is battling inner turmoil, someone who has been smiling while drowning, someone who cannot sleep, someone whose mind has been running and running and running, do not keep this to yourself. Send it. Share it. Let it become a lifeline of peace. Not because you are trying to prove something, but because love does not watch quietly when someone is being tormented. Love reaches. Love extends a hand. Love says, "You are not alone." And there is a way back to stillness. This is ministry, my child, quiet, simple, faithful ministry. A message shared at the right time can become an answered prayer for someone who did not know how to ask. And if you desire to keep being trained in this way, if you want your heart to keep learning trust, if you want your mind to keep learning quiet, if you want your spirit to keep learning alignment, then stay close. Subscribe, my beloved, not for entertainment, but for reinforcement, because I know how quickly the noise of the world tries to return. I know how quickly life tries to rush you back onto the throne of self. And I am building in you a new rhythm, a new reflex, a new steadiness that will carry you into what I have prepared. I am not only giving you a moment of peace, I am teaching you a lifestyle of surrender. So now, before you go, receive this blessing, my child. May my peace rest upon your home. May it settle over your room, over your bed, over your mornings and your nights. May it guard your mind when the old thoughts try to return. May it soften your reactions when the old triggers try to rise. May it steady your choices when urgency tries to push you. May my presence become the atmosphere you breathe again. And when you feel the pull to control, may you remember quickly. You do not have to carry what you were never designed to hold. You are not falling, you are being held. You are not losing, you are aligning. You are not breaking, you are being rebuilt. Protect your surrender, my beloved, and peace will keep building a new season inside you, and I will meet you there.